Hi everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a reading wrap-up. Let's jump right into it. I don't think that I have wrapped you guys up at all on what I've read this year to date. We are in month 5. We're in May. So I'm going to give you just a brief rundown of the things that I have read. Let me open my computer and tell you exactly how many I have read. I have read 68 books so far this year, and the majority of them have been Kindle Unlimited smut. A lot of them. I'm going to let you know everything that I have read this year to date. So first up, I have a couple of arcs that I do not have physically that I wanted to go over, so I put them on a little post-it note. We're just going to get them out of the way because I can put up a little cover. I read These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. I believe that comes out in August. I could be wrong. But it is super spooky, really atmospheric, very like haunted house. I think they said it was a combination of The Haunting of Hill House and Get Out. Super on trend with like her vibes. I loved Rules for Vanishing. And then subsequent These Fleeting Shadows and Our Last Echoes both play into that. So like they somehow tie in, and I love that she does that because her world is like so creepy and there's so many different things that she can explore. This one follows a generational home where something weird is happening, and a girl who becomes like the executor or like the conservator of this house. Even though she's young, she takes over for like the family, and the house has to either accept or reject her. Very, very cool. I really loved it. I'm not rating books this year, so I'm not going to tell you ratings for anything, but I really enjoyed it. Then I read Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, which was her sophomore. No, she had novels before that, but it was her follow-up to The Love Hypothesis. I really liked The Love Hypothesis. My issue was that Love on the Brain turned out to be almost like a copy-paste of like characters. So you had like the quirky girl, the grumpy guy, and a woman in STEM, same kind of conflicts, and basically just a name replacement and like a little bit of a difference of STEM like avenues, but otherwise it was kind of the same thing over again. I liked it in The Love Hypothesis. I liked it in this one, but also it felt like very like Danielle Steele formulaic. There's certain things that just like baffle me, and it's that these women are these tiny little petite women, these big burly dudes, and then each of the main love interests in the books that I have read of hers have such giant manhoods that the women can barely fit them in, and they have to like work up to it, and the guys are like, don't worry, we can make this work. Like, you could take me. But in each one, it was like very specifically stated that like it was a struggle. And how often does that happen? Like, I'm aware it happens, but like legitimately, it seems a little out there. I don't know if that's just like, that's their thing that they enjoy, so they just write it, but anyway. And then I read Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur, and that one was a sapphic contemporary romance. Really enjoyed that one. It was like a second chance kind of a romance, and I was here for it, and I really liked it. Where the Drowned Girls Go by Sean McGuire. This is the most recent installment of the Wayward Children series. Absolutely love this. This also has like a plus size main character and a lot of discussions about how they felt about their body when they were younger, and I cried and I loved it. I have kept on track with the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson, so this is Cytonic. Did not love it. Did not love it. I didn't really love book 2 either. I really love Skyward, and then I feel like we've just started to tank. I want to continue the series, like I want to finish the series, so I read all the novellas as well. Like I think there was 2 novellas that came before this, and then 1 novella that comes after this. I've read them all. It is what it is. Sophie Lark, There Is No Devil, There Are No Saints. This is her duology with like the more conservative covers instead of like the dudes on the cover. I did annotate all these. I think I annotated each of these books. So there's not a ton of tabs, but there are tabs in these. So I have been annotating my books. And these are a serial unaliver and his competition serial unaliver and the girl that kind of gets between them. It was interesting. I mean, I bought them, so I'm going to keep them. I don't know that I loved it, but it was fine. The Words by Ashley Jade. This thing, I don't know if you can see all of these tabs. This was my first introduction to a bully romance. She was plus size and then she lost weight. but she was still curvy and he still loved her. He's a rock star. There's a lot of drug abuse, drug use, trauma, domestic abuse, child abuse. A lot happens in this. It's darker, but I realized that I don't love bully romances. Didn't treat her very nicely because trauma, but then also it's a thing I have and it's a thing I read. The Nesting by C.J. Cook. I am actually unhauling this. This was a Norwegian thriller about a nanny. It had potential, but then it was just weird. I am unhauling, but I did read The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. The only reason I'm unhauling this is because I want like the regular paperback version, and I am going to save this until I get that because I want to switch my annotations over. But I did enjoy this. Again, women in STEM, little tiny girl, big old dicked dude. It was fine. I've been very much in like a contemporary romance mood. You're gonna see that in a second. I read and heavily annotated It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This is the Ballinger sister series. Again, tabbed and annotated. Contemporary romance. They're fine. They were good. I enjoyed them. I will keep them. I've moved my contemporary romance here, so they'll go onto this stack. And then I have my Bachman over here and my book. Two sisters that are wealthy, well-to-do, go back to a fishing town where their parents met and their father died, and they fall in love with fishermen. They're very like snarky, quirky. I enjoy her characters, and because I am writing contemporary romance right now, I wanted to be reading as much of it as I could. So I did. I also read Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I love Ashley Herring Blake's middle grade, so I was really excited to be able to read this. This is a enemies to lovers, like best friends, sister's best friend. I don't love miscommunication tropes, but we do have a lesbian and a bisexual love interest, co-parenting, healthy co-parenting. Their romance was enjoyable. The sister relationship in this, like I feel like there was a lot of confusion that just would have been cleared up with like adult conversation. But it was cute. Again, it will go back there. Also, Not the Witchy Wed. This one is by April Asher. This came in an unplugged book box, and I'm so glad it did. It was so cute. I did annotate this one as well. She's very curvy on the cover, not as curvy in the book, at least on paper. But we have a witch and a werewolf, and because of like their structure of their magic systems, they have to be paired and mated to be able to control their magic better. And so each of them has to find a mate, and so they fake date. But is it? And they used to be like in love in high school, and then something broke them apart, and of course there wasn't clear communication. So this is also second chance. It was very cute and very sweet and steamy, and I was there for it. It was great. Again, that will be back there eventually. Finished in one day, Family of Liars by E. Lockhart. This is the prequel to We Were Liars. So this follows the parents, or like the sisters that are the mothers in We Were Liars. Basically gives you a picture of their family prior to the children coming around. It was good. I didn't love it as much as We Were Liars. This one focused a lot more, like, it all centers around a family that lives on this private island where like it's just their family. And this one centered a lot more on like rich people problems, which are not my favorite things to read about, but still had that writing style and kind of the emotional pull that E. Lockhart has. But I did enjoy it, and it does make me want to reread We Were Liars, which I've read twice before, so I do think I'm going to do a reread of that at some point soon. My most recent book of the month was Darling Girl, because you guys know I live for Peter Pan retellings. This one is a contemporary Peter Pan retelling with fabulous magical elements. Again, tabbed and annotated. I got these like really gorgeous muted tabs to match the books. Like I'm not even sorry about it. Like it's extra, but I love it. They're like muted brown tabs that match. This is interesting. This has to do with like Peter Pan is the villain. There's also like a cosmetics company. They're very much using like the magic of Neverland to stay young and stay fresh and to, you know, cure magical maladies and stuff. And so it's different. I will keep it because it's a Peter Pan retelling. It wasn't my favorite thing in the whole world. But again, I'm not rating anything. Everything's kind of just fine. Guys, I have no excuses. From Blood and Ash. Crown of Gilded Bones, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, The War of Two Queens. Did I read all 4 of these this year? Yeah, I did. These are not tiny. These are all tomes. They're all over 500 pages. They are all of them tabbed and annotated. It's just vampire porn. It's like Twilight made sexy. It's just werewolves and vampires and old gods. I don't understand it necessarily, but it fit what I needed at the time. So like, I have been obviously working on books 2 and 3 of the In Ash series. I've been, working with a publisher on book 2. I've been outlining and drafting book 3. And I need something that's going to be kind of mindless and easy and not take me away from my story too much. And for as large as these are, they're just really easy reads. So I read all 4 of those this year. That's the thing I did. And then the rest has legitimately been KU erotica. Because again, it is mindless and it is easy and I can read it without it interfering with my work schedules and my writing. Like, none of these were so gripping that they took me away from like when I needed to be writing. I could put all these aside and come back when I wasn't working on something actively. So this is not that many books, like physical books. It's 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. There's a couple more that I DNF'd that are in this other pile, but like 20 of them have been physical. And so the remaining 48 have just been smut. I'm not sorry. That has been my reading update so far. I'm currently reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry because I adore Emily Henry's adult romances. So I am reading that right now. I'm really like in the mood to read a lot of things, but I just don't have the time and the brain capacity to work on my book as well as reading a ton of the books that I have. Like, I would love to be reading some big fantasy books. I actually have been dying to get into some of my larger fantasy tomes, some Sanderson, some stuff like that, but it's just not feasible for me while I'm writing to be doing that. So I would say plan on a lot more contemporary romance in the updates to come. But that has been my year of 2022 so far. I'd love to know what your favorite reads are. Did you read any of these? Have you also been sucked into like a TikTok smut KU reading binge? Just me? I doubt it. I think it's a lot of people. But I genuinely enjoyed a lot of these. Not having to rate them has been incredibly freeing. That's it. That's what I have for you. If you like this video, do give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, friends.